Good morning. Thank you to Chris and Caitlin, the members of our wonderful band. Thank you so much for that beautiful music. So good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa. If you're joining us for the first time, we would like to extend a special welcome to you. And thank you also to our live stream viewers. Wherever you are joining us from, we love you and we're so glad that you are here. Keep in mind that you can always see what's going on here at our website, www.cslsr.org. Thank you also so much for honoring our safety requirements. It's because of you that we can now safely have both a 9 a.m. and an 11 a.m. service. Please note that due to the increase in the Omicron variant of COVID-19, we have made some revisions to our safety requirements. We have flyers detailing those changes at our information table in the social hall. We are so grateful for your patience and cooperation as we continue to work to make our in-person services as safe as possible. Did you know that there are several ways that you can contribute financial support to your center? You can give online on our website, you can send us a check, and you can text your donation now to 707-675-2399 by texting the dollar amount you would like to give to that number. If it's your first time, you'll receive a text with a web link that will walk you through setting up your payment. After that, every subsequent dollar amount texted will be automatically donated. Isn't that so cool? And there will be baskets at all the exits after our service today. Because we are a community-supported organization, we truly appreciate your generosity. We are able to serve you because of you and your gifts. At the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa, we are motivated by a vision of a healthy, loving world. It is known as the Global Vision and calls us to imagine a world that works for everyone. We see a world in which every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with the divine and connection with one another. a world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. This vision is supported by us through our shared values, which are spiritual living. As we learn and practice our teaching, the science of mind, we live principle-centered, spirit-led lives, and we turn to our principles for guidance in all moments and all areas of our lives. Integrity. We embrace the quality of being honest and strive to let our inner convictions match our outer actions. We express wholeness, honesty, and fairness in our relationships and activities. Love. We embrace love as the self-givingness of life to all creation, moving through us into expression as compassion, caring, mutual respect, kindness, and selfless service. And compassion. We express interest in and support for the well-being of ourselves and others. We express unconditional love when observing the suffering of others and do what we can to give aid and show compassion. Now we have a very special announcement for you. Drum roll. We have found, thank you, our new facility manager. Give it up for our very own William Abel. William has been with Science of Mind attending services since 1993 at the Luther Burbank Center. He served on the building team back in 2002 and helped transform Starskate World, who remembers that, into our current Center for Spiritual Living. He's been decorating the sanctuary stage for Sunday services as a volunteer for over 25 years. Both here and at the Luther Burbank Center. And there's more. He has traveled around the world with members of the center teaching yoga on Dr. Edwards' spiritual retreats, as well as offering yoga classes here at the center since 2009. He has an incredible wealth of knowledge and talents, and we are so grateful to have his help keeping our building beautiful. Woo! Thank you, Chandra. So I know that somewhere between the music, meditation, prayer, practices, and messages is exactly what you need to experience for the next step of your spiritual unfoldment. You are welcome here. Now please join me in a short time of silent contemplation before our prayer.
Let us pray together. What a joy it is in this very holy moment to recognize Spirit Divine right where each and every person is. It is all of life in its glorious colors and sounds and every activity. God truly is our source, our power, and that which motivates all life. Here now within me, within each and every person, everyone in the sanctuary, everyone within the sound of my voice, no matter where. And in these times, whether these times may seem troubled in this day, we know that God is the source and always uplifts, surrounds, and wipes away, just washes away any sense of fear, doubt, and insecurity. God is the answer, and it is always available, unfolding with divine love. So we can sense and feel that no matter what is going on, God is at the helm, and we are safe, we are protected, we are loved. God is the answer before there's even a question. So with this sense of knowingness, I give great thanks for the opportunity to feel it, to recognize it, to be it. And with this sense of gratitude, I simply release my word and say, and so it is. Amen. Good morning. So good to be here. My name is Sheri Poole. I am a prayer practitioner here at the center. And here is our affirmation for today. I ask questions and allow the answers to come. And so it is.
I can hear such sadness in the voices of my friends, talking about this world and its pain. But we must not lose heart, we cannot give up hope. For long have we journeyed, waiting for this day. These times seem so uncertain, so unkind. But this path makes us stronger, the higher we climb. We were made for these times. Let us turn our fears into courage, into faith, greed to generosity. We can give our anger to love's compassion and move this injustice towards peace and unity. These times seem so uncertain, so unkind. But this path makes us stronger, the higher we climb. We were made for these times. Didn't we say we were believers? Didn't we ask for grace? We must remember, right now we are needed to stand and shine our light in this hour, in this place. These times uncertain, so unkind. But this path makes us stronger the higher we climb. We were made for these times. These times. These times seem so uncertain, so unkind. But we shall use our voices, we shall not walk blind. We were made for these times. These times. Our hearts were made for these times.
Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher Fritchie and our wonderful band, and good morning to you, beautiful people of the Center for Spiritual Living, online and in the room safely. How lovely it is to see you. You're very quiet. Nice to see you too, Edward. Thank you. It's bad enough I have to imagine what's going on behind the masks. So thank you for the feedback. We're at the end of January, and our theme for the whole of January is living in everyday wonder. The idea is that life has wonder just naturally built into it. It's present everywhere, not just when we're being holy or when something amazing is happening, but in the ordinary daily activities of our lives, everywhere, all the time. So our invitation this month is to develop an awareness of that wonderment that's in life. And how? Well, we've been at it all month. We started the first 2 weeks talking about how we have to pay attention for wonder to reveal. It's there, but sometimes we don't see it. We can take it for granted. One of the things I wanted to talk about that sometimes I do take for granted is we have a magazine in our movement. Did you know that? The Science of Mind magazine. And it's an amazing little magazine. It's the longest small format metaphysical print magazine that's been in publication for the longest in the history of the United States. That may be urban legend, but I believe it. And it's called A Guide for Spiritual Living, and I'm going to relate it. There's so many wonderful things in here. One article by the editor, Expect Amazement. So you see, the magazine is synced with the themes that each center follows. So it's sort of like an assist. You can get even more. And there information about celebrating our soul, people of African descent, New Thought Conference happening at Unity Village in August. Amazing. And then there's the statement, and what? This is a beautiful article, Practice Awe for the Ordinary, written by somebody, Edward Viljoen. It says here, I saw a t-shirt that read, "Go outside, the graphics are awesome." Reading the words renewed my awareness of how easy it is for me to miss the holy beauty of creation when my mind is racing. The message prompted me to develop a habit of interrupting routines. Oh, that's such a powerful practice. Interrupting routines that distract me from the experience of being present for the awesome world that we live in. While everything else is going on, there's still awe and wonder present. Going outside may seem ordinary, but it can become spectacular when paired with an attitude of mind that purposefully looks for the magnificent. I mean, think of it as a project, an assignment. Your assignment, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go out and find that which may have been overlooked, taken for granted. So the little magazine is filled up with really wonderful support for our themes. I'll get back to the magazine in a moment. In the third week, we heard from Reverend Ruth, and she talked about we have to balance the looking out there with the being right here, by embracing the present moment, letting the enoughness of the present moment also be like medicine for our soul. And then last week, Reverend Russ talked about being curious about everything and asking all those whys. Now that brings us up to date for the last week in January, where we're talking about, well, now prove it. To who? To you, right? One of my best friends, he and I, we've got this little thing that we do. Whenever we find some new supplement, a new diet, a new gadget, or a new product, we enthusiastically recommend it to each other before we've tried it for ourselves. Right? Oh, this is amazing. You should try it. You go first. I've heard it's really good. There's all these online reviews, but now over time we've become wise to each other's shenanigans. You know, this enrollment process, this experimenting on our loved ones. So now it's like, no, if you think it's such a good idea, you go first. You do it. You prove it. And that's what this week is about, moving from it's a good idea to my experience of it is my proof. Because there are some things in life I can't learn by reading about it, listening about it. You know, I might watch yoga classes on YouTube. I might even learn all of the names of the poses in 2 languages. I could become very knowledgeable about it without even getting up off of my couch. But I will not have proven yoga. I'll have no experience of it. I'll have knowledge but no experience. And that's when I discover that head knowledge, it turns out, can only really go so far. Experience is a beautiful teacher, and it's very personal and individual. So that's our invitation this week, is to let this week be about proving to yourself what spiritual practice does. And you may already be doing it. But how about it's not so much about what you think a spiritual practice does. It's not so much about what you know about spiritual practice, or how many steps there are in a spiritual mind treatment, or who the founders of New Thought are, or how many, remember we used to have CDs and audio cassettes, how many did you collect a lot of those? Oh my goodness, I collected so many. Or how many books you've got that you haven't read? But what is your experience of practice doing for you, teaching you? So whatever it is that you do for a spiritual practice, whichever one you think will do it for you, do it for 40 days and test it. Now, why 40 days? Well, I just made that up. Right? It's just enough so that it's a habit. There's no rule. It's just like when friends tell me, well, I went to the gym once. It hurt. I quit. Okay. You got to get through the uncomfortable part. So do it for 40 days, whatever it is. Like, so for example, if I think that reading an inspirational spiritual passage first thing in the morning at 6 a.m. is a good idea, then let me do it. Don't try to get other people to do it, which, by the way, I'm doing anyway. If I think lighting a candle and sitting quietly looking at the flame once a day is going to be good for my center of peace and my peace in mind, let me do it. And let me see how does it work. Now, I have been doing that. I've been doing it at 6 a.m. Pacific time. I told you about that. It's just a 15-minute, I call it a devotional. I love that word. And it's a practice that is open to anybody. Anybody can join me in my practice. The directions are on our website. You see, I've had some big changes in my life recently. And the pandemic is stressful. So I could see the signs of stress in me. I could see the writing on the wall. And I've got all of the head knowledge in the world. I know what to do. I know that a reset is needed through a solid practice, that it would do good for me. But knowing it is one thing. Doing it is another. So I gave myself a talking to, right? Do it. So now I light a candle at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I read an inspirational quote, and I think about it, and then I do a prayer. Now I'm about 40 days into this because I started at the end of last year. And so now I'm at the point where I can ask myself, how is this working for you, Edward? See? There's a saying, I don't know if you know this saying in America. It's the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Or we say it sometimes, the proof is in the pudding. Now, it's hard to explain because pudding is not probably what you think it is. You know, in the United States, it's a dessert. No. I mean, one version is, but another version, it's kind of like a savory dumpling, something with a crust around some interesting... Anyway, I'm getting off track. The point of it is you can't tell by looking at this thing called a pudding what it's going to be like, because it doesn't look good sometimes. You got to break through the crust. It can't just be one day at the gym. You got to break through the crust, and you got to dig in, and you got to eat it to know if it's good. It's the same with practice. After 40 days, you have the right to ask yourself, how's this working for you, Edward? I've also been asking the people who've joined me, because they've been joining me now for some of them every single day. They're digging in for themselves. They're not doing it for me. They're doing it for them. I've been asking them, hi, how's this working for you? Oh, and the responses. I've heard from first responders, nurses, doctors who are struggling with the pandemic and the waves of inhumane, unkind treatment aimed at them. I've heard from people who've relocated to take care of family or grandchildren, are feeling disconnected from their spiritual family. And I've had people tune in from Bhutan, Peru, Mexico, Central America, South America, Canada, you name it, United Kingdom. Now, I don't have to tell these people what the benefits are from the practice. I can ask them, how is this working for you? Because they are proving it for themselves. You see, that question is so beautiful. Can use it in other settings as well. How's it working for you? It helps me stay curious about others. It helps me keep my mind open to a diversity of experience, rather than telling people how they should be, discovering how they are. Because this practice that I'm doing may not work for other people, and I have to be good with that. It might just be plain boring to some people, right? Everybody's got to have their own way. That is the way of things. We don't know the way anywhere. We don't even know where we are. Do you realize that? So I notice that when something is working for me, I don't have to sell it. I don't have to convince other people to do it. If it's working in me, and the proof is inside of my life. When something is working for you, you don't have to convince your best friend to try it. or me that it's working, or anyone else. What matters is the change in your life, the proof. And then when it's working in you, you know you have the energy of it. That's why I like to say people who are all prayed up are lovely to be with, because there's an energy about them. They don't need to convince you. When you're doing your practice and you're reminding yourself every day about the truth of your being, and you're reconnecting with the living Spirit every morning in the way that works for you, that's wonderful. It's what's inside. How it got there, I don't care, right? It's that you get there. Yeah, we're definitely inspired by each other's authentic experience. Whatever it is you do authentically to know the God truth about you, we are inspired by that. Courage in others inspires me to be courageous. Generosity in others, somebody who's learned the power, the spiritual power of generosity, encourages me to share. Forgiveness in others inspires me to dare to try it. Spiritual practice that is solid in another person makes me want to do it. We pick up and absorb the benefit from each other. So the work I do for me, it turns out, is for you. And the spiritual work you do for you, turns out is for me. What's better than that? I think that's why some faiths emphasize the importance of keeping spiritual company, putting yourself in situations where the conversation leads you upward and doesn't take you down. That's why I value the Center for Spiritual Living so much, because it creates opportunities for us to connect and to talk and to practice together. Look, nothing beats being actually together in person, but that's coming. Right now we're using technology also to connect, and it may not be perfect, but I need my spiritual community, and I will take it in whatever form I can get it. I'm not giving up on that. I'm not waiting. No. Well, I had a look in the bulletin for examples of how we might connect. This is crazy good. We've got Saturday meditation group. We've got lunchtime learning coming, of course, highlighting Black history with Lawrence Edwards and Celeste Austin and Calvin Johnson and Olivia Kinsler, and the topics are all there already, and they look thrilling. And there are weekly opportunities. There are circles for spiritual connection. And I hear from Reverend Russ very soon, when the weather clears up, he's doing spiritual walks in nature. And then classes are starting. And then there's that daily practice generating love. And then there's Sunday evening conversations. And then there are these things called life visioning circles. And then there are groups like the Cancer Thrivers. Isn't that great? And Wednesday evening meditation, inviting the sacred. And did you know on the first Tuesday of every month at 3 o'clock, the whole community is invited to join the staff and me for prayer at 3 p.m. on Zoom? It's absolutely open to everybody, 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then there are full circle conversations about death and dying. There's seniors in spirit. There's the third act. There's the being and belonging discussion group. And then there are monthly peace meditations. Whoa. So I mentioned these to invite you to think about picking one or two or three, especially a regular one, and make a habit of it, if you want to. Get enough experience of it, say after 40 times with it. And then ask yourself, how's this working for me? And if it's coming alive in you, you don't need to tell anybody else about it. And if it's not, Go to something else. One of the 3 jewels of Buddhism is to take refuge in the Sangha. In other words, make your home in the spiritual community. Why? Well, I can tell you why for me. It's because it's good for me to be in conversation and communion, in connection with people who are practicing. Help me stay on my practice. When I'm in the company of people who are practicing, my conversation goes up, my energy goes up, my hope goes up, my trust goes up. And I need that just like everybody. Here's a question, a bunch of questions for this week. Who are the faith builders in your life? Because maybe you're watching from another city and you're far away from this particular community. You might have some faith builders in your life. You know, people who by hanging out with them, you feel better, stronger. And do you spend enough time with them? Another side of the question is, how are you building that faith confidence in the world? In other words, what is your practice that you do that lifts this world up? Somebody got to help hold it up. Back to our little Science of Mind magazine. I want to highlight a feature. You can subscribe to it. It is ridiculously cheap. I think it's like $4, $5 or something. It's ridiculous. It's worth so much more. And in the middle, you can see there's a different color paper. There are daily guides, because maybe 6 o'clock on Zoom's not your thing, you know. You don't want to do that. There's a guide inside for every day of the month. And you can use this with your family, with your loved ones. You could just read through it at a mealtime. Or you could create a group of your own in your neighborhood, or friends you've been to class with. Or you can, if you're a loner, you can sit outside all by yourself. And just use the words to anchor your day or your evening. And you can pick a time that suits you. See, here's the thing about spiritual practice. Everybody's making it up. Everybody who says they know the way, they don't know the way. There's a way for you, though. For sure. Listen to this one. It'll be our practice for closing today. This is for today, Sunday, January 30th. With a quote from Oprah Winfrey to start. Breathe. Let go. And remind yourself that this very moment is the only one you know you have for sure. And then there's another quote from Ernest Holmes. It is quite a burden lifted when we realize that we do not have to move the world. It is going to move anyway. When we find ourselves filled with anxiety that manifests as clenched jaw or fists, a rigid neck or scrunched shoulders, these are all indications that we have an attachment to a condition or a person in our lives. Once we observe our reactive behavior, we can take a deep breath and begin the process of letting go. We don't have to give up the intention for what we want, but we do have to be willing to give up how we go about getting it. In surrendering attachment, there is an extraordinary sense of freedom. In that freedom is an abundance of possibilities. Some would call it living in grace. How do we surrender? The practice is to take attention off trying to possess someone or something. Instead, we identify those ideas we want to express in life. In surrendering, we free ourselves from the constant chatter about what isn't working. We are then open to discover the other possibilities in store for us. We become aware of our divine self when we let go of the suffering from the past and the neediness of the future. Learning to live in this moment helps us to stay centered in love. When I live in the moment, I allow God's healing power to take charge. If I can take time in the silence, I return to the extraordinary place of peace and harmony. Instead of planning, changing, and fixing, I allow myself to just be. In those still, small, quiet moments, inspiration sneaks in and whispers its plan. There are amazing experiences waiting for us if we can let go enough to experience them. Let go, then, and let God guide you to your greater good. And then at the bottom of each page is an affirmation. I am open to unlimited opportunities. I'm open to them showing up with ease and grace. See, that's just a simple practice. One a day, like a vitamin. And you keep it up for 40 days. And you ask yourself, how's this working for me? And then let me know. I'd love to know. Write me a note and tell me what your 40-day experiment has done. And now I invite you to breathe in with me. Exhale into a moment of quiet contemplation. And let the next breath you take be deeper than the one before. As we exhale, we move into a spiritual practice of sharing. Before the pandemic, we would pass the basket so that we could financially support our center. But now we are depending on other ways of receiving contribution. And may I say, one of the things that amazes me is the solid, beautiful, consistent way in which the community supports the center by helping us pay for the bills. It is a strong and definite message that this center has a place of importance in your life, and I thank you for that. And at whatever level you are contributing, won't you know with me that it is making it possible for us to keep the doors open for everyone during unprecedented and trying times. It is no secret that the pandemic has caused spiritual communities to struggle in terms of attendance and support. Some are losing their buildings, some are losing direction. But we have stayed strong, and that is because of you. We've got a lot to do. We have some things to take care of, but with your support, we are confident we can make it through. So won't you please place your hand on your chest as a symbol of your heart connection to the center, and thinking of whatever way you have gifted the center, whether it is in your thoughts and prayers, or whether it is through volunteering, or whether it is a text to give, or a check, or cash at the door. Just think of that. All of those ways of giving, and say, just listen to these words. I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. It is now time for our community announcements, which Julie Burns will bring to us.
Let's give some love to Dr. Edward for that inspiring talk. I can tell you that I might not be there at 6 a.m., but it does anchor my day at 8 a.m. So if you're not an early bird, you can still tune in later. So Circles for Spiritual Connections small groups meets weekly via Zoom to discuss the Sunday message and to build community. Registration is still open, but today is the last day to sign up. You can find the details on our website by clicking the picture of the blue and yellow water drop. Reverend Russ's workshop, Set Your Whole Self Free, is today at 3 p.m. Perfect activity for a Sunday afternoon. You can still register for this fun workshop, which is designed to help us better understand the ways our mind defends itself, sometimes creating funky results. Registration ends at 1 p.m. today. Simply click the picture of the Lego hiker on our website. Our education ministry winter term classes are open for registration on our website. We have blind spots, journey of the soul, mental equivalence, and non-dual spiritual teachings. Spiritual education is a great way to enhance your experience of life, and you can do that with one of our skilled teachers, Reverend Russ Laguerre, Reverend Tara Steele, Reverend Joyce DeFala, Dr. Kim Kaiser, and practitioner Betty Smith. Thank you so much for being here. We love you. Have a wonderful week.
Hi, I'm Betty Smith. Do you have a relationship with your soul? What's it like? I'll be teaching an upcoming class called Journey of the Soul. Here's an opportunity to come along on a soul journey with me to strengthen the magic of the soul. This class gives us an opportunity for growth in our humanness, including all of our feelings, even those that don't seem so sacred. Also, it makes us aware of the sacredness of our bodily sensations. Did you know Ernest Holmes wrote an essay about that? This curriculum is brand new. Patrick Harbola, the author of the textbook, has agreed to come and visit one of our classes. We meditate each week in class, and during the course we practice the steps of spiritual mind treatment. Both are good tools to keep handy during stressful times. Journey of the Soul begins Thursday, February 10th at 6:30 p.m. Register online by going to our website. I hope to see you there.
Now, Chris? Yeah. Oh, okay. Takes a lot to get this to run perfectly. Thank you for watching out for me. And how wonderful that the author, through technology, can show up in the class. I mean, it's such these times, that opening song, these times are amazing. I spoke in Jamaica on Thursday, right? Do you remember Reverend John? He spoke for us. And so there are some marvelous things that are happening in the world as a result of this incredible experience, trying experience we're going through. Like, for example, using the same technology that developed the vaccine for COVID, the vaccines are in trial for HIV. Wow. I mean, if somebody said to me, we could have a vaccine for HIV, but you'll have to sit in your room for 2.5 years, I'd say, bring it on, right? I would definitely do it. So awe is presenting itself in the most remarkable way all the time. I can hardly get through to the end of a day without being blown away by the miracle. We shouldn't call it a miracle, by the ordinary splendor of life. So, time to close our service with beautiful music. Won't you please know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly, so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. I'll see you again soon. Enjoy the closing music.
I